You know, it's occurred to me that we never really tell people from the offset who we are on the cabin here.
Yeah, we're not great at that.
We should be more egotistical and say our names more, shouldn't we?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio only child. I say things like that, but, you know.
We might have new people tuning in now that we're on YouTube.
It's true. We are growing. People can see us and they're still tuning in. That's pretty impressive.
Hey, haven't scared them away yet.
No. Working on it, though. That's what the beard's for.
Perfect.
All right. So podcast recording, don't stomp your feet. Filthy animals.
So, we had Teddy, who's a major videographer. What's your title, Teddy?
Manager of motion.
Manager of motion. Yeah, he's got some unique title. He put up signs on the stairway near our cabin thing to tell people not to be loud on the stairs so they wouldn't interrupt us. Then he comes walking right in the door in the middle of it.
I didn't know you guys were recording.
Yes, we started already.
You guys already started.
We did.
You're doing great.
That was crap. So unprofessional already.
And this is why we generally don't have an audience
Off to a
in
great
front of us.
We're not used to these in-person problems.
It's so nice to see you guys in person, though.
Yeah.
It is.
I prefer this. I much prefer this.
Much
the
more
setup
fun.
in here is so
Wild.
wild. I walked in, actually, hats off to Teddy. We just teased him for walking in, but I don't know how long it took you to set this up, Teddy, but it looks like it took you a long time. There's 4 cameras, 2 lights at least.
3,
3 lights. We all have our, of course, different mics, and we had to be socially distanced. So it is crazy to see. We were joking before we did the show that instead of calling this the cabin, today we're going to call this the lodge because the room we're recording in is not our typical studio. We had to go into a bigger space to.
And we haven't been able to be in our typical studio much anyway with
We haven't.
COVID
Yeah.
this
I know
past
you guys
year,
are 3-dimensional. It's so exciting. So exciting.
We've had to roll with the changes on
Hey,
this podcast.
are you going to introduce
Yeah,
us?
remember when we started
By
by
the
saying
way-
we don't introduce ourselves?
So back to us and our names, yes. Hello, I'm Eric Paulson, one of the co-hosts.
sorry. Hello.
Mariah, let's do it.
I'm Mariah Haberman.
I'm Audio Dave.
And I'm Susan Foch.
Susan's our producer. Audio Dave is co-host.
On the ones and twos.
Audio guy. The ones and twos helping with the zeros and ones as we come to you digitally. Yes.
There we go.
So, and what are we talking about today?
Madison's Hidden Gems. I'm so pumped about this.
Oh, no. That was so fast.
Oh.
There they are.
Always at the ready, sort of.
Oh, real
Dave.
quick little pod swap, if we can call it that. I was on Drunken Wisconsin Histories show on Sunday at 11. I was worried I'd have to be drunk to be on the show. I did not have to be drunk to be on the show. But I got to meet...
Doesn't it help?
I don't know. Now I want to go back and take a different approach to it. But
So you're calling them liars.
I can't speak for them. They might have been drunk. I don't know. But it's Russ and Eric. They were really nice and really funny. I did like a 15-minute piece on Drunken Wisconsin history. I think it's coming out either next Sunday or the Sunday after, but go subscribe to their podcast.
What'd you talk about?
They asked me, they wanted to stump me. So they came up, I guess they have a segment where they ask like, how Wisconsin are you? And they changed the questions for me and asked, well, I don't want to give it all away, but they asked some fun ones that really genuinely did stump me. So
If it
Give her
was
a
really
listen.
Wisconsin, it should have been, how Wisconsin are you? Hey.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Solid suggestion, Eric, for sure.
I'll definitely check that out, though. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Very fun.
So, obviously, we're on YouTube doing this now, too. It's interesting doing a podcast now where you kind of have to mind your P's and Q's the whole time.
One of you minded your P's and Q's, Eric.
Good point. Okay. On to our capital city.
All right.
And the hidden gems.
Well,
The Cabin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Counties Association, and this week we're featuring Columbia County, which is great for those central Wisconsin fans who love outdoor activities. 56 lakes, 27 boat landings, 35 miles of the Wisconsin River. It winds through there quite a bit. 50 miles of trout streams, 333 miles of groomed snowmobile trails, over 3,000 campsites, 20 miles of hiking trails, and 165 miles of biking trails. I'm tired
Wow.
already. Holy cats. Of course, Wisconsin Dells is in Columbia County, Lodi, Columbus, Portage, which is the county seat, I believe, and named for the Fox, Wisconsin waterway, by the way, portage is. So it's a literal portage between the Fox River, which of course empties up towards Lake Michigan, goes out the Atlantic Ocean, and the Wisconsin River, which goes toward the Mississippi and empties into the Gulf of Mexico. Jacques Marquette and Louis Joliet, during their discovery of a route to the Mississippi River in 1673, recognized that particular portage, and portage now refers to itself as where the North begins. Another quirky fact, Lodi has adopted a Spring Creek resident mallard, which the residents have named Susie the Duck as a mascot. They have an annual Susie the Duck Day.
Oh,
where
wow.
They dump a bunch of plastic ducks in that creek and they all race,
Nice.
which is
Featured
fun.
on Discover Wisconsin in 2013.
Oh,
How did I not know that?
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that one, I guess. The Dells, by the way, sprawls into 3 other counties, but it's much more than the water park capital of the world. The city takes its name from the Dells of the Wisconsin River, obviously a very scenic place. A glacially formed gorge that features striking sandstone formations. Boy, it's a good thing I'm not in broadcasting. Along the banks of the Wisconsin River.
Well done.
That's a lot of facts. Thank
That
you,
was a
Susan.
lot of
Yeah.
Those were some
Well
good
done.
I try to
facts.
make these really fun, you guys.
Yeah,
I
love
put a lot
it.
of effort into that.
I actually,
Yes.
I know a lot of Wisconsins. I learned stuff
Yeah.
right there. That
Yeah.
was excellent.
very nice. Should we stoke the fire?
Let's do it.
Whoa.
Whoa. Need a
There's a
fire
red
hydrant.
glow in here now. Crazy.
All right, so a couple months ago, if you guys recall, we let Eric guide us through Milwaukee's hidden gems. This was episode number 52, and it is now, fun fact, our number 7 most popular episode of the Cabin Pod.
Really?
So
There you
we
go.
Very
we
cool.
looked at that and thought, why don't we show Madison some hometown love? 3 of us live here in Madison, which actually, I don't know about you guys, but that actually, I think that made it harder to come up with these specific
Yeah.
hidden gems.
Yeah.
It was tricky for me anyway. I just kept like writing one down and I'd erase it and then I'd write another one. I had to poll multiple people. Like, what do you think about this one? What do you think about that one? I got a little too into it, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's hidden just to locals versus outsiders.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like I have only been a participant in adult medicine for so many years because I was at
you mean growing up
because I
Madison.
was
Okay.
in college for so long, and Madison was State Street. And
Oh yeah.
you know,
If you experience a city as a college student, it is totally
It's
different.
different.
You're in a bubble for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. There's life beyond campus.
It is
for sure.
remarkable once you get off campus and you're
Yes.
like, oh, there's a whole
There's a whole
place
world out here.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think I'll stay.
Right. Okay, so we decided to take a little bit of a different approach today. We thought each of us, so we'd break this down into categories. So we have a restaurant category, a bar category, outdoor space / park category, and then a random category. So each of us selected one hidden gem in each of those categories to share with our listeners. You guys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why don't we kick off with the restaurant category? I will begin with this was actually probably the one I went back and forth quite a bit, but I ended up choosing Burrito Drive. Any take? Anyone been to, enjoyed Burrito Drive?
I don't know that I've ever
I've
been
not
there,
been
but
there, no.
I order there a lot.
Okay, that makes me happy that, well, you've ordered it though. You've had the food there, but Susan and Eric, not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm a big, Teddy, you like Burrito Drive, right?
Love burrito.
It's the best. So I don't know.
We need to get Teddy a microphone.
I know.
Seriously.
Just bringing him in. We can subtitle this, right? I don't know that I would necessarily recommend dining in at Burrito Drive. I mean, you could. You certainly could. But it's a pretty understated place. I guess I'll call it that, which is probably a really nice way of saying it's a little bit of a dive restaurant, which is why I love it. So you go in, you mostly pick up. I think most people have their Burrito Drive delivered. I love, by the way, their little description, which I think is perfection, is no frills. Probably a better way of saying dive bar /
That's a very
restaurant.
clever way of saying
No
it.
frills, late night joint. Although I'd argue on the late night side of it, I definitely have indulged lunchtime all the time at Burrito Drive. Serving burritos with creative fillings such as Spam and tater tots, which don't judge too much because
It's good.
it is so good. There's one called like I always call it the Shenane burrito, which is incorrect. It's like, do you know the one, Shemena or something?
Oh,
I call
yep.
every time and they're
That's-
like, you're not saying it right, but we know what you mean.
Shemane?
Yeah, Shemane.
something.
Shemane it's easy for me to say. Yep. But anyway, really fun burritos. So when you're in Madison, now you guys are going to notice these cars driving around that have the little Burrito Drive sign like on top. So now that you know about Burrito Drive, this will make a little more sense to you.
I have seen that. I just never knew where it was.
And
I still don't. Where is it?
Yeah, it's in the Willie Street area.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief, it is not located on a street called Burrito Drive. Although I think they should work on like changing the name of the street.
Maybe an honorary block.
Yeah,
renaming.
It's probably a
think
really
so.
easy thing to do.
Yeah, totally.
Never
they
hurts to
deserve
ask.
it. Yeah, but just a great spot. Very, like I said, understated, underrated, and I that one I struggled with because I feel like a lot of Madisonians know about Burrito Drive, but I still find quite a few that are like, where, what, or like it sounds familiar to them, but just it's amazing. A really good food, in my opinion.
A spammerito.
Spammerito. Interesting.
Yeah, you gotta try it though. And when you do, follow up with me, please, Eric and Susan.
We will.
Get the
We promise.
Shemena burrito.
Shinamina.
That's what I meant. I don't think it was right.
Shamana.
All right, Susan.
Ooh, okay.
Let's kick it over to you. What you got?
All right, so my restaurant is not a hidden gem. It's the Tornado Steakhouse. The hidden gem part of it is the late night menu
Yes.
at the Tornado Steakhouse, particularly like the steak sandwich they have at the end of the night. The trick to it is that there's no set time that the late night menu starts. It really is whenever they feel like it.
You've got to be pretty chill. Yeah, you're not going to Tornado Room with like a super strict schedule, I feel like. It's kind of like, that's what I like about it.
But everyone needs to do the steak sandwich.
Yep.
Have a lovely cocktail next to it. But yeah, it's like the weirdest thing to try and plan your night because you can't really plan when you're going to have it. But I think anytime after 10 will be a good, at least, marker to start. But again,
Yes.
have some cocktails. It'll be really great. That's a great experience.
That's a great suggestion.
My late night experience with the Tornado was scallops at like 12:30 in the morning.
Really? Okay.
A cocktail, and they were a delight.
I love that. I'm not that big of a drinker, so I like going up to like that bartender and just saying like, this is kind of a little bit what I like. I was like, can you just like make me something really fun? Which depending on the bartender is like, I'm their worst nightmare. No, but
Some
they've
love
always
it,
made
some hate it.
really
Yeah.
great things. So
Nice.
that's everyone should try that late at night at some point.
It's right off the Capitol Square too. It's very. It's right by Jenna's, which is a fun bar.
Yeah, Jenna's is fun. Dave.
My restaurant of choice was the Breakwater in Monona. I don't know if you've been there. It is right on the Yahara River. And the best part of there is getting an outdoor table in summer. You just get to watch the boats go by on the river. Everyone's like real relaxed. They have really great catfish, which was what I had last time. And it's not something that I had really ever heard about, but I kind of just chose a random restaurant and ended up there one day and loved it.
I'm trying to quickly look up when they open, because that'd be the newest one on our list, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, is it
but I don't
fairly
know if-
recent?
I think so. How was your parking situation when you went to the Breakwater?
I think the first time was before all of their construction was going on.
Okay.
But yeah, the second time we went there, it was all torn up and kind of confusing. You're not sure that you're in the right place. And,
Yeah.
like you definitely got to rely on Google Maps.
That's
but-
probably a good thing to point out. If you're going to go to the Breakwater, it's under like a condominium. It's a mixed use building, right?
Yeah.
There's like a condominium unit, and then they're on the bottom floor.
Okay, you can see that from the Beltline.
You can see it from the Beltline.
If you're driving past,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah. So if you see that, then you kind of know. But if you're going there for the first time, it is kind of confusing, and the parking lot's relatively small, I think, because you're
Yeah.
sharing it with the residents, basically.
I saw the sign that said Breakwater. I figured that was the name of the condo complex or whatever. I didn't think that
It
referred
might
to
be,
a restaurant.
but yeah, it is
It
the
might be
actual
both.
restaurant. It might be.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't find when they opened, but I
good
feel
name
like
for
it
both.
it opened when the condos opened, which wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. But yeah, great little spot. A cool view. Eric.
My list keeps growing here. I know. All right, my hidden gem for a restaurant is a little place called Nattspil. It's like Glockenspiel, but Nat.
Good choice. Great choice.
And I stumbled upon it one night. We were out on the Capitol Square area. And actually, I was with somebody I knew who owned one of the other restaurants on the square. And we went there for a late night meal. And it's not a place that you would notice because there's no sign for it. It's right by...
very hidden.
Yeah, it's right by the Great Dane on
Literal
the Outer
hidden.
Ring Road along
Literally
King
a hidden
Street.
gem.
Yeah, it's literally hidden. You walk in, and I thought it was Nattspil. It's Nattspiel. But you walk in, and it was, probably midnight or something. It was extremely vibrant in there. It's a narrow place, goes back a little ways. There's a DJ in the back mixing, and we had Chinese food. And they make Chinese food and what else? 'Cause
Actually,
I loved what they were making that night.
I've been to Nattspil many times, but only for drinks. I've never
Oh.
actually had, and that to me, it was always a late, like we always ended up at Nattspil, which probably tells you what state I was in at that point. So I can't speak to the dining. So I was happy to see you have this on your list. And then I'm like, oh, he's got it under his restaurant.
It's a restaurant. Yeah, you
Interesting.
probably were surprised.
Yes, yeah. We used to have happy hours there. Our DMW crew would go. You went to Nashville with us a few times. Yeah, it's been a minute.
I never knew that, but okay.
Crap. Invite. Awkward.
It's okay. I live further away. But they did serve, because they'll serve a couple of different styles of food in their kitchen, but the Chinese is what stuck out with me.
Yeah, interesting.
And it was so good. And if you sit along the bar, the kitchen's right there. So you're watching them make it, and they put the plates right in front of you directly from off the grill.
Yeah.
And it was really fantastic. Now, it's a cash-only place.
Yes. I remember that.
So be prepared, because that's the opposite of how most things are nowadays.
Yeah.
But
Very
it's
dark in there, too.
And it's
from what I
very
remember.
dark, but it's just really cool.
It is cool.
And it's like a little hideaway.
And it's like one of those places that's not pretending to be some fancy schmancy, like, downtown, like a really kind of out there type. Like they just are what they are. You can tell they're not trying to be super trendy. If that makes sense.
They're not trying to be cool. They're not trying to be a secret speakeasy. They're just there.
They're just there. Yeah. Some Madisons, it's a good one because I do think some Madisons know about Nattspil, but I think a lot don't necessarily or haven't been. So
hence the hidden gem.
All right, I'll give it to you.
I want like a zoom in on you, like 1980 style TV where you're like pearly whites and a big wing. Yeah.
Oh, pearly whites.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna have to cruise through the
Oh,
rest
I
of
sorry.
guess we gotta
Are
speed
we
up a
taking
little.
way too long? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to start with the bar category. Super pumped about this one. I'm including Le Tigre Lounge in Madison. Who's been to Le Tigre? Oh, Teddy's been. Okay, you guys have to go. Bucket list place. I know, it for sure is an iconic spot in Madison. It's right off the Beltline. It's literally in a strip mall. Don't judge it on the outside. Don't
Sounds
judge it on
like
the
a strip club.
Don't judge it on the inside either. Le Tigre.
Le Tigre Lounge?
Yeah, maybe on certain evenings it might get to that point. No, I don't think so. So it's right next to Ace Hardware or Ben Franklin. Yeah, Ace Hardware in a strip mall off of like Whitney Way-ish and near West Side. I might be wrong about Whitney
So it's
Way.
not Midvale.
It might be Midvale.
Like where Dorn Hardware is? It's not
Is it
in there?
Midvale? Midvale.
Oh, it's Midvale. Okay, so it is
so
the
that
Midvale
little,
exit.
that strip mall.
18151, yeah, the big
on
interchange.
That north
Mariah, I'm
side.
gonna have to remind you to keep on that mic.
Sorry. Let me change this. So anyway, it's full of tigers, not real tigers.
Oh.
So you walk in.
Tigers
and
or tigres?
Whatever you want to. I call it tigers when I go in. It could be little tigres. But everything, there's also a swear jar there. So mind your P's and Q's. And it's just.
I better
it's
bring extra
just,
cash.
And I'm pretty sure it's got one of the oldest liquor licenses in Madison. I
wow.
could be wrong about that, but it's been around for more than 60 years. And just I would put this in the Nattspil category, another bar that's just cool without trying too hard to be cool. But be ready for some eclectic just vibes in general. Okay, Dave, what's your bar?
My bar was Old Sugar Distillery.
Love it.
I think a lot of locals might know about it, but it's kind of a hidden gem for me just because it's not a place that you'll see on your way from one place to another as you're out walking around Madison. You kind of have to go there as your destination, or I've ended up there after the concerts in the park that they do. What's the park?
It's been so long since we've had concerts. I'm blanking
what
on
is
it.
live
now.
music?
The one central, in that area, that park over there, Central Park, or the one on
No,
the
it's
square?
right on East Wash.
Yep. Yes,
Breeze
Oh,
Stevens
Breeze
Field.
Stevens.
Yeah. So I've ended up there after
Thanks, Teddy.
Breeze Stevens concerts. I always get the whiskey ginger there. It's fantastic.
Ooh, I
but
love
they
that.
distill in-house, and then they have the bar to kind of allow you to sample their liquor and
And the
take some home
distillery,
as well.
everything kind of surrounds you there too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like in the donut hole of the building where you
Yeah.
can sample things.
For sure. Really good.
Great choice.
Okay, who's
Susan.
been to the Robin Room?
I've been. Love
Yeah?
it.
I
Yeah.
don't think I have.
I haven't.
I think it's so fun. It's on Johnson Street, but I think it's so fun because there is no sign for it. There's no label. It's just the neon pineapple in the window.
Yeah.
It's the only reason you know that you're there.
I've seen that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's cute. It's a
Very
cute
delicious
spot.
cocktails. super tasty little spot. But I like it because you can only find it by just that little light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that area I think is really, I mean, I don't want to say up and coming because it's been up and coming for a while, but it is a cool part of the isthmus, I think. And that's probably one of the newer, I'd say, hidden gems on our list. It's
probably
a few years old, maybe tops, but great spot.
When it opens back up from COVID, people need to go.
Oh, yeah.
So is that kind of near where like the Caribou is? That old
just
school
down
bar?
the street.
Just down the street?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Not too far. So you could bar hop. Caribou, maybe as a hidden gem, I could potentially call that. I mean, it's iconic. It's a legacy bar.
It's iconic old school. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you go, you could bar hop, start at the Caribou and end up at the Robin Room. Totally different vibes. So just be prepared for that.
Yes.
Great selection.
Eric?
My grandfather used to like going to the Caribou. And, we'd go to Badger games. I'm like 6 in this bar, and I'm looking around taking mental notes. And then I go back in there at age like 40, and it's the same stuff.
I used to do my laundry.
They've wiped it down a few times since.
It hasn't changed. They've got like the weird headless mannequin thingy.
Yeah.
And I used to do my laundry right next door on Friday nights, and it was always so entertaining to sit there and wait for the stuff to be done in the dryer and see people come out of the Caribou. Oh, fun Friday night pastime. All right, Eric.
Love it.
That was a hidden gem extra on our countdown. So I'm going to go with Mickey's Tavern.
Okay.
Which is a great place, kind of where Willie Street starts to end and become the Atwood area.
Mm-hmm.
It crosses kind of a little creek or a river there. It's not the Yahara. Is it the Yahara?
I
there?
think
might be.
that is the Yahara.
The river's going to have a recurring theme in our episode today. So Mickey's Tavern, it's a classic old building. I mean, it has been there since 18-something. And the inside bar, if you want all of the kind of eclectic and oddball Madisonians, like a lot of them go there. The atmosphere is really cool. It's very laid back. The bar and the bar back is super old. Their sandwiches are phenomenally good.
Yeah.
And they're more, they're not a fancy cocktail place, but boy, if you love old school beers, if you love just a bunch of cheap, delicious drinks, that is such a great place to go. A lot of Madisonians know it, but I still think
it's another
of it as
legacy. I'd say legacy bar, kind of like the Caribou, but it is one that I'd call it a gem for sure. And it is the Yahara. I triple checked. So.
Okay, cool. And a lot of visitors to town would never stumble across it. So I think they should, the heads up is warranted.
Okay. Let's go to outdoor space / park. I feel like I may have mentioned this one in a previous episode of the Cabin Pod, but I couldn't remember which one. So it's the Matz Farmstead Ruins. If you go to, so this is out, we decided, by the way, we're going to do Madison area. So this is heading northwest out of Madison into Cross Plains on Highway 19. On the left side of the highway.
Is it by Indian County Park or whatever?
Yep.
Indian School?
Yep. On the one side of the highway is Indian Lake County Park, which is one of my favorite parks in the entire area. One of the coolest dog parks too. A lot of people don't even notice on the other side of the highway is this really cool rundown building. It was a farmhouse, the Matz MATZ family farmhouse, and it burned down, I believe, in the 1800s. Actually, no, might have been. Oh, so actually, it was built, or they homesteaded it in 1852, the land anyway, and then it burned down. And there are 2 generations who ended up living in it, and just the way it ended up burning down, it like the remnants just stayed in like the coolest way. So when you go to the Matz Farmstead, oftentimes, I've been there a couple times now, there's usually photographers there because it's like a photographer's dream. It sits up on a hill, kind of overlooking. They had to have had the best view ever, this family, by the way, because they were overlooking Indian Lake County Park before it was County Park. And it's just amazing and just has the best kind of sunset view up there. So I love it.
That stretch of Highway 19 west of 12 and it's in Dane County. You're not far away from Madison at all. But it is like it's a trip. It's like you're hundreds of miles away.
It's actually one of my favorite drives in Dane County.
It is. It's one of the best in the state. I would say it's one of the better drives in the state.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You're nestled against a hill. There's a lot of twists and turns, maybe for, 8 miles?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
And the homes are all like made out of stone and just really old and beautiful.
Yes,
and
the architecture there is cool. And the Matz Farmstead Ruins, there's just a little gravel parking lot you can pull off. And a couple signs tell you about it.
Bring your camera. Very cool. Put it on the gram. All right. Dave, what you got?
For my outdoor space, I had Hoyt Park, which is kind of nestled in the neighborhoods south of the hospital, east of, what's the mall over there?
Hilldale?
Hilldale, thank you. We used to live over there. We lived maybe 3 blocks from this and never knew it was there until we pulled up maps one day and we took a drive. It was out of our way, so we never drove past it. So we took a drive over and found the best little hidden park that has all of these great trails. It used to be a stone quarry. So there are all these trails that take you right next to these stone cliffs and everything like that. There's also a point that you can park at called Sunset Point that has a beautiful view looking out over the sunset, over the city. It's just great. There's all of these restored stone fireplaces that you can rent or use. It's just so much more than I expected from just a randomly found neighborhood park.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never been, actually.
Yeah.
That one's on my list.
Very cool.
Brand new to me. Yeah.
My outdoor space is going to be Picnic Point, which I think is pretty well known amongst like college students, but it took me like 2 years of living here before anyone told me about it. It's great. It's a little 2-mile hike, but you walk straight out into the lake and you get on one side a gorgeous view of the Madison skyline on one side and then kind of all of those like really fancy houses in Maple Bluff, which is always kind of cool to see from the other side.
Yeah, kind of a panoramic view of Lake Mendota.
Yeah,
I think it's like the best view of getting like
'cause
the
you
most water.
Stick right out in there. Yeah.
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 Again, quick little 2-mile hike.
Yeah.
So fun.
Great spot.
Eric?
I'm going to go just down the shoreline a little bit to the Tenney Park Locks, which is also on the Yahara River. It's right where the Yahara essentially begins because that river connects Lakes Mendota and Monona. And the lakes themselves are about 5 or 6 feet difference in elevation. And that's enough. If you're boating, you need a lock to raise or lower you. So on the Lake Mendota shore, there is a little, it's like, I never thought of a boat lock as cute. But it's like a mini little lock, and you can row your boat or your kayak or whatever into that lock, and it will raise or lower you the 5 or 6 feet to allow you to navigate between the two lakes. And so it's got all the stuff that a huge lock like on the Mississippi River does, but it's just all in miniature.
Very nice.
It's like a model or something.
Interesting.
It's a cool little thing, and it's right before Maple Bluff, where Maple Bluff begins, just on the isthmus. So.
Great little gem. Okay, and now I'm excited to hear what everyone picked for their random selection. I'll kick things off with a museum. It's the UW Geology Museum right on campus. Anyone been?
Yeah.
Does it rock?
Yes, it totally does. Actually, it's home to
Thank you, Audio Dave.
it's home to evidently the oldest piece of Earth.
Oh, yeah.
A really old rock there from like Australia, I want to say.
It's not Betty White?
Take it back. Take it back.
I love Betty. She'll be
doesn't
100 in
deserve that.
January.
Oh my gosh.
She's great.
I think Madison's got an amazing museum scene, and so I really wanted to include a museum. But it was hard for me to come up with one that was a true hidden gem because I think so many of them on the square are so iconic and really well known. Veterans Museum, like, there's so many great ones. But this is one that's like a classic field trip destination for local kids. But I think a lot of people, and it's free, by the way, to go. At least it was. I'm assuming it still is. Just a really cool spot to take kids that, again, is free. And I was really, I wasn't expecting just the number of exhibits that they have. It was pretty expansive museum in there, which is awesome. So highly recommend.
Yeah, I took geology courses at UW-Madison as an undergrad. I didn't even know they had the museum there.
Too busy at the house parties, huh, Eric?
Yeah. Well, back then that piece of earth wasn't quite as old, so.
My random, real quickly, Mendota and Monona get all the love, but if you're looking to escape the city feel of Madison, check out Lake Wingra. You got boat rentals. Over half of the lake is surrounded by the Arboretum. Monroe Street is super cute and nice to walk around. And then you got a free zoo at Henry Vilas Zoo.
That's a great little zoo, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Good selection.
It's amazing. It's an amazing zoo. Good choice.
Very fun. Mine is actually going to be another bar, which is odd that I
Whoa,
started
Susan.
this. I know I started this by saying I don't actually drink often, which is very ironic. So, but it's Camp Tripolindi.
Tripolindi, yes.
I never say it right.
It's a
I
tricky
never
one.
say it right.
You know where it's from.
No?
Tripolindi.
No?
In the movie Back to School, which featured Rodney Dangerfield, filmed in Madison largely in 1986, the big dive he had to do at the end was called the Triple Lindy.
Oh.
So that's what they named
That
the bar
is-
after.
Eric is upstaging my last hidden gem. Amazing.
Sorry.
No, it's great.
He's
I didn't know that.
augmenting it.
Yeah.
He's just adding the bonus.
I love it. It's the rooftop bar of the Graduate Hotel, and everything from it, like start to finish, when you're in the elevator up, is camp themed.
Yes.
Down to even like the cocktails they'll make there, but then put it in like juice pouches. Everything from start to finish is camp, but it's great. But it's a
So
really
you
nice
stab
little,
it with a straw?
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
it's like a crazy straw.
It is
So
one of
fun.
my favorite like themed restaurants, or like the decor in there. It does it makes me so happy. I just it's
Yeah.
a fun spot.
It's a very kind of walk back in time
It's
feel
very
too.
nostalgic. And the view is
The view
great.
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Don't
not the
look straight
traditional.
down. If you look straight down, you're going to see like downtown Madison's dumpster. You have to look
Well,
out.
Mariah, you know how to sell it.
I'm just warning you because I was like, where's the? Oh, okay. You have to like look more at the horizon to the north, not into. Well, you could look both ways. You want different types of views. Okay. Did we get through all of them?
I got
Eric's.
one
Oh,
little
sorry, Eric.
random left.
Yep.
And we've mentioned this before in a previous episode, but it's so random I have to mention it again. And that is the Elvis Marker. It is very small. You got to look for it, and you got to be walking on the street. It's at the intersection of 51 and 151, which is East Wash and Stoughton Road. Very busy intersection. Thank you, Dave. Very busy intersection, but it's right where Shep Motors is. And if you're walking along the sidewalk on East Wash, you'll see a little marker that commemorates in 1977, shortly before he passed, unfortunately. Elvis was in Madison for a show in the limo. They were going down East Wash, and he happened to see two guys that were fighting, just punching each other on the side of the road. Had his limo driver stop. He got out and helped break up the fight. Now imagine
What a guy.
you're punching a dude, and Elvis comes out of his limo and says, "Hold it, boys, you better stop. This isn't a good thing to do."
Well, I think he approached and like assumed a karate pose.
Oh, that's right.
And
He
just thought it was so ridiculous. that-
Oh
with his
my gosh.
sequin
Yeah.
outfits and a karate pose. "Boys, you better stop." And
If only smartphones would have existed.
I know,
back then, I would
if there
die
was
to see
video
that.
of that, it would be more watched than that
Justin Bieber
Gangnam
video?
style video. And so there's a little marker there to commemorate
That's amazing.
a very unusual moment in Madison history.
Hilarious.
Very nice.
What great hidden gems.
Yeah.
I learned stuff in this, and I'm in Madison frequently.
Yeah.
So
Same.
my list just grew. All right. Well, you hear us talk about the Wisconsin Counties Association every week here on the Cabin Podcast. We share the county of the week, like today was Columbia. But there's so much more to what the WCA does. And Susan sat down with their executive director, Mark O'Connell, to talk about the role they play for Wisconsin.
All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much again for sitting down with us. This is quite exciting. Can you explain to the Cabin listeners what the Wisconsin County Association is? Because I don't think many people know, and what your role is for the state.
Yeah, it's a good question, Susan. I mean, the Wisconsin Counties Association, we're an organization of all the counties in Wisconsin. We lobby the state and federal government to try to get done whatever it is counties wish to get done. County government is not really the romantic level of government, like let's say our school boards or city council. We're the level of government that maintains all the things in life that keep our fabric of society together. We're not going to have the story on the front page of the newspaper. We're going to be more like on page 37. We're dealing with things like making sure the water is clean and taking care of our youth and taking care of our elderly and making sure our streets are safe and that our roads are plowed. The kinds of things that you hope you never really have to deal with as an individual, but you're really happy that someone out there is taking care of it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great way to put it. A lot of people take a lot of those things for granted, but thankfully the Wisconsin Counties Association is there to help take care of us, which is great.
Yeah, Susan, you're right. I mean, county government is it's the part of society and government that if you can go through your whole life and never really interact with county government in any meaningful way, what it means is that your life is probably okay. We deal with the kinds of things that it makes society work. But many times you're happy if you don't have to deal with it. If you don't have a juvenile, a young person that's involved in juvenile corrections, you're happy about that. But you're glad that someone's taking care of it. And that's county government.
That's a great explanation of it. I love that. My other question is, as we're kind of coming into year one of the pandemic, which I'm sure blows a lot of people's minds, how have you seen, all of the Wisconsin counties and our communities really adjust? I think the word pivot was like the whole big word of 2020. How have you seen all of, Wisconsinites be resilient in this time of pivot?
Oh, Susan, it's a great question. This pandemic has really thrown a curveball to everyone in our state. And many citizens and many of us, we were able to stay home and take care of our family and work remotely in many cases. County government generally did not have that luxury. When the pandemic hit, our public health departments had to rise up and really perform at an extremely high level. I am so incredibly proud of what the public health people have done in our state. There's an old saying that says, public health saved your life today, you just didn't know it. Well, during this pandemic, public health saved our life today, and now we do know it. So I'm really proud of what county government has done. I'm also very proud of our citizens. In Wisconsin, we were hit pretty hard with the pandemic. We had a lot of people be contracted with COVID, and we responded in every corner of our state. And that, it says a lot about the citizens of our state. I'm proud of county government, and I'm proud of the citizens of Wisconsin for how they've responded.
Can you guys believe we're in the middle of the 34th season of Discover Wisconsin?
Wild.
Crazy.
It's nuts. Yeah. And it's been a minute since we've done a behind the scenes segment. Like a long time, actually. So we are inviting a special guest back to the Cabin Pod. We have producer Jessica Murphy in the house to talk about all things Verona.
Yay, Jess.
Hey, guys.
Well, that's quite a sounder.
Hello. Thank you for having me
Welcome,
back.
Jess.
Great to have you, Jess.
Thanks. Good to be here.
All right.
Last time you were here, there were significantly less cameras.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. How does this feel? What do you think of our setup here?
I'm not going to lie. It's very intimidating.
It's a little overkill, but we're kind of over the top here at the Cabin Pod.
Jess, you're around cameras and lights all the time.
Yeah,
Come
I know,
on.
but they're usually not pointed at me.
That's a good point, yes.
Big difference. Big difference.
Yeah, definitely a difference. Okay. So, Verona.
Verona.
Can you remember? Because we shot the majority of the show all of last summer, right?
Yep, last summer.
Okay, so can you give us a rundown of the Verona episode, which, by the way, is currently up on YouTube for our listeners to go check out, /viewers, those of you watching.
Yeah, so I was really very excited to do this episode because my parents live in Verona, so I'm very familiar with the area, and I go to a lot of the places that were featured in the show. But there were also some new places. We kicked the show off at Epic with Mariah, which was obviously very exciting for all of us.
Actually, I could have justified putting that on Hidden Gem only because the tours, so obviously Epic itself is not a hidden gem. A lot of people know, obviously, it exists in Verona, but a lot of people I don't think take those tours.
Or maybe they don't even know
that
the
they offer?
extent of the campus and what is really there.
What did you think? Like, what was your reaction when you first stepped foot on campus?
You feel like you're in some sort of theme park, magical world. I mean, it's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Same,
Truly.
Yeah. I knew it was impressive, but I was very surprised by just how eclectic, it really was.
Yeah.
Eclectic.
I thought, they've got a whole, each of their buildings there are themed to a T. There was one that was Alice in Wonderland. When you walk into the lobby, everything's upside down. The staircase is upside, they're not just
they're not messing around.
Yeah, they're not just putting titles on buildings saying this is Alice in Dairyland. They're every
You said Alice in Dairyland.
Spoken like a true Wisconsinite.
How Wisconsin are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? They should do a themed building, Alice in Dairyland theme. But anyway, they took it to an extreme level.
Yeah, they've got Harry Potter themed, farm themed, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Wizard of Oz. They have a tree house that they use as a meeting room. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. So we started the show off there. So we
need to level up the lodge, by the way, the cabin turned lodge here that we're in. We need to theme this and get inspired by epic. So if Judy Faulkner could throw some funds our way, maybe she can sponsor the cabin.
That would be the Epic Lodge on the cabin.
Ooh, business plan is in. Susan, you on this?
Yes. And then from Epic, we go to Toot and Kate's Wine Bar in downtown Verona, which is, I don't know if you guys ever have been to a wine bar that has self-serve
So dangerous.
Yes.
wine. I had never been to one before, and it was very cool. Super cute little place.
It's where you just enter your credit card in and like dispense it's really dangerous because the next thing you know, you're like,
I know, you just fill up your glass
Yeah,
as
but
many
very
times as
fun.
you want. Yeah,
Very
that
fun.
was an awesome place. Then we also go to the Farley Center for Peace, Justice, and Sustainability, the Ice Age Trail that runs through Verona. We go to Heartland Farm Sanctuary, Fireman's Park, Wisconsin Brewing, and the Hop Garden in Paoli.
fit a lot in.
Yeah,
Paoli. Yeah, that's a cool little settlement right next to Verona.
Paoli, or as my dad says, Paoli.
I always call it Paoli too. I can't.
Paola. It's adorable. It's like the
It
cutest
is.
little town.
And it's like
Love
one
it.
block.
Yeah.
Is it spelled the same as aioli? Is that why?
It really, yeah. P-A-O-L-I.
Paoli.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Very cute.
Yeah, and the Hop Garden, if you guys haven't been, is awesome. They're right on the grounds of, I can't remember the park name, but there's like I think it's like Old Mill Park or something, and it's right by the Sugar River. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, so can you spill the tea for us and tell us about some production challenges that you faced while filming this one?
Well, this was the first episode that we started filming after COVID hit.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
honestly, that's the biggest challenge all around. I mean,
Remember when we were like, masks or no mask? Are you allowed to have them on camera?
yeah,
It was
we had
such
to
a
kind of
challenge.
navigate through all that masks and social distancing, and it gets complicated when you've got hosts and interviewees on camera and trying to keep them separate, but trying to not make it look like they're super far apart. So just kind of navigating all that. Luckily, this show was mostly outdoors, which helped. But yeah, it was kind of our first go at productions during COVID.
and with the wine bar, there was plenty of sanitizer around, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Was there anything that you wish would have gotten more attention in the show?
I was pretty happy with how much attention we gave each thing. I thought we gave a good look at everything. Heartland Farm Sanctuary was one place that I feel like we could have done, even more on. That was a really cool place. I should probably explain what it is. It's it's a sanctuary for farm animals that are either, abandoned or brought there, they're sick, injured, whatever. So all the animals had kind of different stories, and they do therapy with adults and kids with the animals. So
That's so cool.
yeah, they do a lot of really cool stuff.
I
And
think I saw Teddy bonding with some goats or something.
yes, there was a goat named Esther who was basically like a dog. I mean, these goats would come up and cuddle with you, and they just wanted to be pet.
Aww. You little goat whisperer.
There was a pig named Maxwell who, as a piglet, jumped off a truck on the highway, and somebody rescued him. He was probably, being brought to slaughter, and somebody rescued him and brought him in, and now he's like 400 pounds, still growing. So, yeah, it was a very cool place.
Feel like maybe Josie's cameos could have been a little more front and center throughout the show.
I liked that shot. Just walks right in front of you as you're trying to do your job.
Yes,
Yeah.
you had Josie at Wisconsin Brewing.
Yeah. She's not a show dog. She's she's not trained in that way or in many ways, to be honest with you.
My question is, who is that cute baby that kept making appearances in this episode?
Oh, does it start with an L and end in an ooey?
Yes.
Yep.
So when we were filming at the Hop Garden, it was a Sunday, and they had the farmer's market going on and live music. So, and I was filming it by myself. And so I told my family, I was like, if you guys want to come on out, you should. So my husband and my parents and his parents came out with my son, who was about a year old at the time. And of course I got some shots of
He's
him.
also the most photogenic baby of all
He
time. He has
is.
the best smile, like the best crinkly smile. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was his DW debut.
Yay.
So,
Nice.
Start him young, right?
yeah.
So he got his first TV credit at a year old.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Emmy is on its way. Yep.
Stage mom.
All right, so people can watch our Verona episode on YouTube. You can also stream it on OTT, Roku, Apple TV, Smart TV, Google Chromecast, and Amazon Fire.
Got it all down.
Yeah. Anything else, Jess, you feel like we should know? Anything else you really wanted to share about the Verona show?
Oh gosh, just that it's a great place. Whether you're going for a day or a weekend, it's super family friendly. The parks are amazing. We went to Fireman's Park, which is basically just the most incredible park I've ever seen. They have this awesome playground, a splash pad, a beach, fishing areas, bike trails. The Ice Age Trail, of course. So super family friendly, easy, accessible, super close to Madison. You gotta go.
Good pitch.
So you
I
like
love it.
Verona?
She's a fan.
I do.
Big
I'm
fan.
Starting to
biased.
think that.
Yeah. The memories. It was a good one. All right, go stream it now, guys.
Whether it's the cabin or the lodge, we have the same hinges.
Same door. Follows us.
Yeah, crazy. All right, time for a review. Mariah, are you ready for a review?
I am so ready.
All right. The title, Always Amazed, by DJ Ud 16. It might be D Judd 16. But when you're in radio, you see a capital D and J. You go with DJ first, yes. I'm thinking it's D Judd 16. He says, or she.
That's true.
Thanks for sharing the most amazing places in Wisconsin. The Wisconsin bucket list is getting even longer. Thank you.
Thank you, D Judd.
16. Appreciate
So
that.
sweet.
We do love every review that we get on Apple Podcasts and in our Facebook group, which is called Around the Campfire. Now, don't forget you can also leave us a voicemail at 608-909-1935, the year Mariah's grandmother was born. That's how it's been etched into my mind, right? Crazy. All right, next week we have a very top secret episode. It's going to be major. That's the biggest preview we can give. You'll have to come back next week to figure out just what in the heck we're talking about.
Dun, dun, dun. Today's episode of The Cabin was hosted by me, Mariah Hopperman, Eric Paulson, and Dave Janis, plus Susan Foch. Produced by me, Susan Foch, and Audio Dave, with video editing by Andrew Natvig, and social media by Abby Stecker and Susan Foch. The Cabin is a production brought to you by Discover MediaWorks. To learn more, head to discovermediaworks.com, and don't forget to leave us that review.